I made some mistakes, and I've done some things that I'm not very proud of. I too have blood on my hands. I feel complicit that I have been part of a system that has underserved many of our children. However, there is always opportunity for us to keep plugging away to get it right. For me, there is this opportunity to remove some of the blood from my hands. In the words of hip-hop artist Gloria Hallelujah Woods, known to some as Glorilla, every day the sun won't shine. I guess that's why I love tomorrow. Family, today is tomorrow. And what we do moving forward matters. We must have a sense of urgency. The NAACP has created a table, a tent upon which we can gather. We do have, again, a sense of urgency. And the NAACP wants to bring all of us to the table so we can be strategic. And when I'm talking about strategic, I'm talking about Bayard Rustin strategic. If you know who Bayard Rustin is, you know that at one time, he was called the most brilliant strategist in the entire world. And so that's the kind of strategy that we need. This work does not ignore the fact, as the poet Guante says, racism is not the shark, it's the water. And we fully understand that. At the same time, we have an obligation to leverage our agency and our collective genius to thwart the reality. If a system of inequity was created by humans, it can be disrupted by humans. And so in terms of the nuts and bolts of this work, it really is rolling out in 4 phases. Phase 1 is what we call conversation with wise counsel. Because we can't attempt to know that we know the solutions without listening to the people who are most impacted. And so for the last month, I've had conversations with about 35 individuals and organizations to ask a couple of questions so we can have a very accurate landscape analysis. And some of those questions are, what is your theory of change? That is, what do you think is going to take to move the needle in literacy? What should we start, stop, and or continue as individuals and as a collective? What's missing? Where are the gaps? What do you need as an individual and as an organization to broaden and deepen your impact? What role should you, can you, will you play in this collective movement? And who else should we be talking to? So that is phase 1. Phase 2, this is the time for action. And so this is when we leverage the expertise of those strategic planners, those strategic organizations in our region that can help us translate this work into real concrete action. Because we know that we've had enough talking. As I heard someone say, it's time to stop singing and start swinging. And so again, we want to leverage the expertise of one or more of the region's most brilliant and impactful strategic planners, action organizations, and research organizations so we can bring multiple invested stakeholders to the table to move to our solution. Next step, we will engage districts around these proposed solutions and get buy-in. Our goal is to have a resolution adopted and signed by every school district in the region. And that resolution is basically saying we are committed to this work and we're committed to a very specific goal around moving the needle for Black and brown kids in our community. And then finally, we report our progress, celebrate our successes in terms of both proficiency and growth, and commit to continuous improvement. Will this be perfect? No. After all, we are public servants and not perfect servants. So let's give each other some grace. At the same time, let's all commit to doing what Clarence's mama told him to do, to hold space. Let's commit to standing in the gap for Black and brown students who are being profoundly underserved by a system that some argue wasn't designed for them anyway. And so with that being said, thank you. said, that's the most that you'll hear me talking all night. And so with that being said, we want to bring up our brother. Where's Kareem?